What up, y'all?
Yeah, that throw, my goodness. And even
Just playing on my Madden
so
franchise.
through the air.
Just chilling.
Extra point try now for second. And we've got a good one brewing. We're all knotted up at 14. That drive started on their own 25. 2 plays, 75 yards later, into the end zone. This one tied at 14 now as he sends this one away. Taking it about the wood. And no Allen to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time. See if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. I mean, that's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense.
Let's
Got to be ready
go.
on the pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
Fields going to hurry his guys to the line. Looking to throw again on second
Worried about
down.
that, and now they just stopped Cuba. Why am I sitting out? I have no talent, actually. Wow.
I'm telling y'all,
My side is
newsflash.
Field.
DK Metcalf is the best receiver on Madden. Hands down. I don't want to hear shit about DeAndre Hopkins. I don't want to hear shit about Devontae Adams. DK Metcalf is the best receiver on Madden.
that was in this upgrade slash patch. Now, knowing that the fixing at Walker's Glen,
Hands down.
the flipping,
Oh.
knowing that has been fixed, but not tested.
Yeah, he caught that. Let's go. I would be pissed.
Down, looks like it's the majority of track.
Oh, that was the end of the half?
Not in testing.
Okay.
Let me know in the comments below, guys, if there's anything else that you found that's different in this build.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. We'll see if week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. Certainly not what they wanted out of the locker room here as they'll start defensively at the 40-yard line.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
A good starting spot for the Saints as they come up 1st and 10 at the 40. Bridgewater. He gets this to Devontae Adams. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. Now that's a catch of some significance. It's number 631 of his career. And why that's significant, it ties him with Hall of Famer Raymond Berry,
who was one of the most precise route runners at any position during his time in his career. So I think that we're seeing something very similar here. He may not have known Raymond Berry, but he goes about his business the same way. Understands how defenses are going to play, understands where the leverage is, and goes away from it to the tune of 631 catches. Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon, and it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a 1st down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
On 1st and 10, Bridgewater. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. That catch good for only a couple.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Oh, that'll be incomplete. Well, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Well, as we all know, possessions are crucial in a tie game. And let's face it, I really didn't need to tell you that. You already knew it. So when he sees he's got nothing good going, an excellent decision to just send that one to the sideline.
And they'll need to get to the 35 if they want to keep this drive going on 3rd down. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker. They stop it for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down.
He's not gonna make this. Ain't no way. Oh, they tried to pull one over on me. Oh shit, I can't believe my eyes, man. I'll be right back, y'all.
The plane, a twin-engined Airbus A330, is being flown by a young co-pilot, Dirk de Jager, and an experienced captain, Robert Pichet.
Captain Robert Pichet is somewhat out of the ordinary. Captain Pichet, from the moment he gets his wing, he gets to learn how to fly in the north of the province of Quebec, where the conditions occasionally are very severe.
The flight deck of the A330 is ultra-modern. Banks of computers connected to over 100 onboard sensors constantly monitor the operation of the plane. This film reveals how serious problems can arise when the pilots begin to distrust the computers. Before departure, the computers give no indications of any problems with the Airbus.
3670, follow A320 Air Canada. Turn left on Romeo and hold short on 24 right.
Roger, follow A320 Air Canada, left on Romeo.
Flight 236 has 306 people on board.
We were married for 4 days.
For 4 days. So we had planned to go to Portugal for our honeymoon, and we had booked this flight on Air Transat.
He been giving me trouble all game, man. Oh, that's Clowney? Oh, man. Oh, man.
So this was the last flight.
Oh, man. He been killing me all game, man. Him and Davenport.
Well, ordered on this flight
Metcalf.
to go on a 2.5-week vacation with a friend of mine. Obviously, he was very excited, spending 2.5 weeks on the coast of Portugal. Very excited feeling.
Transat 236 Heavy, cleared for takeoff.
240 at 8, cleared for takeoff, 24 right, Transat 236 Heavy.
At 20 minutes past 8, the Airbus A330, loaded with over 47 tons of fuel, leaves Toronto for Lisbon.
D1, rotate.
Yeah, y'all, I'm just playing the computer in franchise mode.
The Atlantic crossing is good.
Yeah, I got a franchise with the
Apart
Falcon.
from a small adjustment to the route.
And I'm planning on relocating pretty soon.
To avoid congestion, air traffic
So,
control
yeah.
directs the flight 60 miles south of its original route.
About to run the
It's
same
a
play
modern
again or a
operation,
similar play.
but will later play a crucial role.
Oh, you.
The passengers settle down for the
Fuck!
The reason for our trip to Portugal was a family trip. We were going to a wedding. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone this year. So instead of just going for 4 days for a wedding, we decided to stay for 2 weeks and throw the wedding in as a kind of family perk. See everybody.
Everything appeared quite normal, and in fact, I had traveled on Air Transat previously and found it not to be very good, and was surprised at the quality of the flight. That it was on time, the plane was newer, and we thought generally it was much better than we had expected it would be.
Better care starts with a better.
Offense back out and ready to go.
Every 30 minutes across the Atlantic, the crew check their position and fuel consumption against their flight plan.
42 tons on the right, 142 tons on the left.
Despite the computerized systems, some procedures like checking the fuel on board still need to be done by hand. By comparing the amount of fuel in the tanks with the amount the flight started with, the pilots can keep an eye on the fuel consumption.
Fuel check complete. Levels normal for the distance flow.
For the first 5 hours, everything is routine. The flight crew, air transats, and the accident investigators have all declined to be interviewed about what happened next. This film uses known facts about the flight, standard emergency procedures, and expert opinion to reconstruct what took place on Flight 236.
Good. Getting a warning signal. Oil temp low and oil pressure high on number 2.
This warning is the first step in the crisis.
Oil pressure is within normal limits on number 1. Number 2 is slightly high.
The computer display reveals that the oil temperature is low in engine number 2, but the oil pressure is high. It is a very unusual reading. The pilots are puzzled.
I can't see anything here. I'll look in the FCOM.
A low oil temperature indication is normally indicative of bad weakness, bad sensor. Oil temperatures don't decrease normally, they increase. A low oil temperature would be of no concern. The high oil pressure is a very strange indication. It's very rare. In fact, I've never actually heard of one. It's only indicative of the contamination normally of the oil with fuel. That's not something that's explained in manuals.
Call the company.
The crew contact Air Transat Maintenance Group in Montreal.
Transat 236 to Mirabel Operations.
Mirabel Transat 236. Hi.
Hi, we have a little problem. We're getting a warning oil temp low and oil pressure high on ECAN for engine number 2. There's nothing in the QRH nor the FCOM. Can you help us out?
The ground crew have no immediate solution. The pilots must work it out for themselves.
They may have been given some advice on troubleshooting to see if that would help. But ultimately, the pilots are up there on their own. They can get advice from somebody 2,500 miles away, but they can't do that.
Keep monitoring your oil levels and see what happens.
But because the oil readings are so unusual, the pilots believe they may indicate a computer error. The crew keep monitoring the oil levels. Air Transat 236 continues on track. Then, 20 minutes later, a new warning.
Fuel imbalance warning. Haven't seen that before. Auto on I have air traffic control.
In the Airbus 330, most of the fuel is in large tanks in the wings. The computer has now detected that the fuel level on the right is significantly lower than the left. The crew consult the Airbus flight manual, which recommends they transfer fuel to a special cross-feed valve. Fuel will then flow from one tank to the other. But before opening the cross-feed, the pilots must be sure that the imbalance is not caused by a more serious problem, such as a fuel leak.
Last fuel check was only 15 minutes ago. It was okay. No indication of fuel leak. Keep going.
Wing cross feed. On.
On. Once you begin a cross-feeding procedure to correct the fuel imbalance, restorative action should commence quite quickly. In other words, the situation would not continue to get worse. You would either stabilize immediately and then begin to correct itself.
But the situation is not correcting itself. Unknown to the pilots, there is a major fuel leak in the number 2 engine on the right-hand side of the plane. Flight 236 is in mid-Atlantic, nearly 300 kilometers from the nearest land. 39,000 feet over the Atlantic, nearly 300 kilometers from land, Air Transat Flight 236 is in trouble. Unknown to the pilots, the right engine is leaking fuel. The plane's computer system has thrown up a series of warnings, but the pilots believe these are computer error.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when it worked out in the slot,
even if it is a leak, it doesn't explain the alarms on the OS. Everything was okay at the last team check at 30 West. Bet you it's a computer problem.
The task of finding out if there is a fuel leak is made harder by the design of the Airbus systems.
The systems monitor hundreds and hundreds of sensors, and they can be affected by such mundane things as a little bit of frost or ice on a sensor can cause it to present bad data. So it's not something that would occur on every single flight, but it's something that we're quite used to dealing with.
There is no warning to show if the fuel level is falling faster than the engines are consuming.
Oh shit.
So the pilots received no
You got me on that one.
that there could be a fuel leak.
Fuel quantity is rising in the tight.
Do that shit again. Okay. He did it too. That's nasty. That's nasty. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's nasty. Fuck that. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that, bro. That shit.
The Jaeger finds a disturbing difference.
According to all the gauges, all the tanks in the right wing are way below the level they should be. According to the flight plan, it's the other ones. What about the tanks? Nothing there either. Hello, first officer here.
Come to the cockpit, please.
It's Traylon Burks.
Captain Bichet believes he is dealing with a computer.
That's my boy right there.
He nevertheless decides to ask for a fuel check, just in case, to see if there could be a fuel leak.
Captain?
Hi. Can you and Karen take some flashlights, go to the window, if you can see anything sailing back from the wind? It will look like a mist or stream ripple back. Kurt, I want you to do an autocomplete field check.
Hey, I'm about to end these niggas. I'm about to end these niggas.
In daylight, the fuel pouring out of the back
I'm about to end these niggas.
is visible. But in the dead of night, even with a torch, the fuel leaking from the engine is impossible to see.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, he didn't catch it? Oh my god. Timeout. I don't care if it was an incomplete pass. Timeout.
The crew evidently realized
I give all my players some rest.
And at that point they realized that
Come on.
that the circumstances were becoming more serious. And I think there were probably some discussions that took place between the two pilots as to what the next course of action should be.
If the computer is correct, then with the amount of fuel remaining, the Airbus will no longer be able to fly to Lisbon. Captain Bichet is forced to make a crucial decision.
Get on to Ocean Week Control, where's the nearest airfield?
Transat 236 Heavy Santa Maria Control, can you advise nearest airfield we have a possible fuel problem?
The nearest runway is over 300 kilometers away, but with the fuel remaining, Leger's military airbase on the tiny island of Terceira in the Azores should be within reach.
Santa Maria Control, Transat 236 Heavy. Proceed to 30 flight level 390 direct. 350 miles to threshold. Are you declaring an emergency?
Stand by, Santa Maria Control. Not yet. Must be the computer.
Transat 236 Heavy Santa Maria Control. No assistance required yet.
That's crazy.
Flight 236 continues flying south for the next 25 minutes. Everything in the cabin seems normal. But in the cockpit, the fuel readings are getting worse.
Must be the computer. I've checked. There's nothing in the trim or center tank. The gauges show only 7.
According to the fuel gauges, the plane is using fuel much faster than normal. Whether they believe the gauges or not, the captain has no choice. He must warn air traffic control.
But have to declare a fuel emergency.
Transat 236 Heavy Santa Maria Control. Santa Maria Control, Transat 236 Heavy, go ahead. Transat 236 Heavy, declaring fuel emergency.
I really hope it's a computer bug. Because if the men in the Azores have a plane full of fuel, crucify us.
Timeout comes in. The whistle's blown with 3 seconds remaining.
Seven 700 feet beneath the surface, stalagmites and stalactites, million-year-old all-stars in a natural stadium. Carlsbad Caverns National Park.
Should I go for 2 or should I kick the field goal?
Less than an hour for the first fuel alarm. The right-hand engine runs out of fuel and cuts out.
We're losing engine number 2 right now. Okay, maximum thrust on number 1.
What's going on?
The lights started flickering on and off, which I thought was kind of odd, strange.
On one engine, the Airbus will not fly at 39,000 feet. They must descend quickly.
Try to transfer fuel from center tank and trim tank. Transferring. Fuel quality is reaching 0. I'm not gonna go completely dry on this airplane. Alright. We can't stay at 39,000 feet with just one engine. We'll descend to 33,000 to control loss.
236 to largest tower, we have lost one engine flame out. Roger, Transat 236. I can see you on primary radar. You are at 135 nautical miles from Latches Field. We are 135 nautical miles from Latches Field.
Well, there's a whole lot of critical things go on. In addition to that, you turn on all the exterior lights so people can see you're in trouble. You have to broadcast your intentions on emergency frequency so that other people know that you're unable to maintain your altitude. You may be descending through their altitude, so everybody else is now on the lookout for an airplane that's in distress.
For the next 10 minutes, the stricken Airbus continues on its one remaining engine. The pilots still believe that the computer may be partly faulty and that they can make it to Legeres with fuel to spare.
Yeah, might be alright. Fuel gauge is falling fast though. It's nearly hitting 0.
But 13 minutes after the right-hand engine cut out, and with 130 kilometers still to go, the left engine begins to fail.